my kitchen and welcome to my channel Cake. I'm your hostess Suzanne. Today we're going back to the basics. This is the third of a three-part series. Today we're going to stack and fill and crumb coat a cake. Let's go ahead and get started. I have a turntable here. You don't have to have one. It just makes it a little bit easier if you don't have a turntable. You can also use like a Lazy Susan. You can go to the thrift store and I think you can probably pick them up for $1 or $2. And I have a non-stick pad here. It's basically your cabinet shelf liners, and I just cut a circle on it. It really helps stop the cake board from moving around on the turntable. And so we have a turntable, our non-stick pad, and today, surprise, surprise, we're going to be using 8-inch cakes, and I don't like my cake board to show, so I'm using an 8-inch cake board. Okay, I went ahead and placed that in the middle. Let's go ahead and put a little bit of buttercream onto our cake board. That helps ensure that the cake itself does not move around on the cake board. You don't have to cover the whole board. Just a little bit in the middle will do. Take our first cake layer, take off your parchment paper if you use it. And you want to center your first layer onto the cake board itself. And I like to make sure it's on the center by squeezing in my fingers, and you can feel where the cake board is. I'm going to use 2 different types of fillings to show you both ways to do it. On the bottom layer, I'm just going to use just your normal frosting. And basically you just plop some on, however much you like. And just swish it back and forth. And as you can see, I'm turning my turntable as I'm swishing back and forth just to get the whole top of the cake covered. And when I feel like it's covered enough, I go ahead and take my turntable and keep my offset spatula in one place, enter my turntable until it's all nice and flat and level. There we go, it looks pretty good. And I use a separate bowl as it might have some crumbs on it. And we don't want to contaminate this good frosting with the crumb-filled frosting. Okay, let's go ahead and put our next layer on. Here's our next layer. We want to go ahead and place that on the center of the first layer. And you can move it around a little bit until it's on the center. And I like to take my fingers like this, and you can feel that it is level. Okay, push it down a little, jiggle, jiggle, jiggle to make sure it's on there nice and tight. Okay, for the next layer, we're going to go ahead and use a filling method. We're going to go ahead and make the dam for our second layer. And to fill your decorator's bag, you just basically turn over the top half of it. Stick your hand underneath like that. Cover up your hand, protect it from the frosting. There you go. And we don't need a whole lot in here. We just need enough to create one line of a dam here. And typically you just go ahead and do it like that, and you take it and you wipe it off on your thumb. Let's try that again. Oops. You just take it off and then you wipe it off on your thumb, and your thumb creates a little place for it to come off on. There we go. And then you just fold it back up. And you squish it down, all of it down in there. Twist your bag, make it nice and tight right here. That way you have the most control. Creating a dam just ensures your filling stays right where it needs to be, in the middle of the cake. Let's go ahead and do that now. And here we go. And I apply equal pressure as I'm turning my turntable. And you want it close to the edge. And if it breaks like that, just go back over. At this point, it doesn't have to be pretty or perfect. Just want it somewhat level. And just keep squeezing. I didn't have enough pressure. There we go. Turn it around here. Start where you left off and close that dam off. Okay? There we go. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. And since I don't need this anymore, I'm just go ahead and squish it back into my bowl. Okay, now that we've created our dam on our second layer, let's go ahead and fill it. Let's go ahead and put the strawberry cream cheese filling in the middle of the cake. And I just took a big heaping tablespoon on there and swish it back and forth with the back of my spoon. Okay, now that I put some on here, smeared it around a little bit, let's go ahead and take a small offset spatula and make sure it's on there nice and even. This just ensures it's nice and flat, and we have the same amount of filling all over this layer. Okay, or we don't have too much filling, which is often the case for me. I like a lot of filling in my cake. This looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and put the top layer on, and you guys know what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn this puppy upside down because the bottom of the cake is flatter than the top, and we want a nice flat top for our cake. Push it down and jiggle, jiggle, jiggle like that. Make sure it's on there nice and secure. Take our fingers like this and make sure it's on there nice and straight. Okay, we got her on nice and flat. Let's go ahead and see if she is indeed flat and right where she needs to be. Get down eye level with your cake. At this point, we're gonna stick her in the freezer like this to chill her, but I'm gonna go ahead and clean off the sides just a little bit before we crumb coat her. Now that we have filled her, I am going to stick her in the freezer for a good 15 minutes before we give her a crumb coat. Be right back. I just took her out of the freezer. She's in there for a good 15 minutes. So she's nice and firm, so we can go ahead and give her a crumb coat. A crumb coat is just a thin layer of frosting that will lock in those crumbs, so when we do the final coat, we won't have any crumbs. And it doesn't have to be perfect or pretty. We just need to get some on there and just cover the whole thing. Okay, let's go ahead and start with our crumb coat. And basically, I like to start on the top and then go to the bottom. It doesn't matter where you start. Okay, let's go ahead, and I just plopped on a good helping on here, and I'm gonna swish it back and forth like a windshield wiper motion, and then start to turn my turntable just to get a nice thin layer of frosting on there. There we go. I'm gonna go ahead and wipe off my offset spatula onto the separate bowl so I don't get any crumb-filled frosting back into my final frosting. And we just go ahead and use it from here until we run out. Okay? And then we just go ahead and apply it on the side, swish, swish back and forth. And you might have some gaps between the layers. You want to get those filled in as you want your sides of your cake to be nice and flat. I like to wipe off my offset spatula every once in a while just to keep it nice and clean and put the frosting right where I want it. And typically I want it at the tip of my offset spatula. Okay, we did it. We have filled and crumb coated this cake. This is again the third of a 3-part series, Back to Basics. If you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. It really helps me out a lot. And if you're already subscribed, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. And if you like this video, please hit that thumbs up. That lets me know I'm on the right track. And if you'd like to be notified every single time I upload a video via email, hit that bell. That's called the notifications bell. It'll send you an email. Just a reminder. If you'd like to see the other 2 Back to the Basics videos, I will link those too in the description box below. If you have any questions or need clarification on anything, please feel free to ask. You can go ahead and ask those questions down in the comment section below, and I will answer them. I hope you're having a great day. I know I am. Until next time, make it a great day.